Studies have shown that students report using generative AI tools like ChatGPT in their English courses more than in any other subject. Here's why that makes us English instructors so frustrated. The goal of our courses pretty much boils down to helping you present your ideas in your voice as effectively as possible. And generative AI tools completely prevent that from happening. Your English instructor probably spends a lot of time talking about documentation. That's because in the academic world, ideas are the most important thing, and it's essential to know whose ideas are whose. When you use generative AI, you're not presenting your own ideas. But whose ideas are they? In case you don't know, generative AI offers the next most likely word based on what's been written about a topic within the training data for the AI system. It's like an average of what everyone in the past has already written. Our job as instructors is to help you build critical thinking and writing muscles so you can make effective arguments based on your own ideas. When your English professor asks you to write an essay laying out an analytical argument about a character in a play, the purpose isn't to see if you have the right reading of the work or to generate groundbreaking literary criticism, coming up with ideas about the character that have never been thought of before. It's for you to exercise your mind, to put in reps figuring out how people use words to make other people think and feel things so that you can be a stronger reader of other people's writing and a stronger presenter of your own ideas. So putting a prompt about the character of Troy Maxson from August Wilson's play Fences into a generative AI tool will indeed produce an essay, and one with minimal grammatical and expression issues at that. But the product will be a bland, processed, crowdsourced argument, and you won't have done any mental exercise or practice putting forth your own ideas. That AI-generated essay also won't have your voice. In fact, it pretty much won't have any voice, because predictive text, by the very nature of the process, spits out the most predictable, generic-sounding language. People who teach English tend to love language. We're like connoisseurs of language usage, delighting in the character expressed in the writing of idiosyncratic individuals. And when we read something a student has written, we quickly get a fingerprint of their writing style. So when a student whose writing we've seen turns in an AI-generated text, we can usually immediately sense that the prints don't match, especially because AI-generated text tends to read like something with no fingerprints at all. It's just smooth, hollow-feeling echoes of things that have been repeated the most in the past. And that makes us sad, both because the writing is flavorless and because it isn't yours. We asked you to make us a meal that expresses who you are, and you didn't even just go buy a pre-made meal from a restaurant. You bought the most basic, averaged out meal possible and presented it as the product of your own work. We're not looking for a product, perfect sounding prose and perfectly conventional arguments. If that were the goal, then it would make sense to use generative AI. We're looking for a process, students putting in the work necessary to come up with ideas, express them in writing, and tinker with that writing to make it as effective as possible.